We are Cactus Wrestling. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos.
Welcome to Cactus Wrestling.
Get that cactus merch, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm working on it because it's not this, but this is still cool. USA, go.
Today we put out a poll and the results are in. You guys want to hear about Little Rock Wrestling, the meteoric rise of Little Rock Wrestling, how they came to be. And we kind of looked into it, and we're going to talk about this. I mean, it literally is meteoric rise because
Yes,
their first year as a D1 program was in 2018.
that was when they hired what's his face.
Harrisman.
Yeah, Arisman. That's when they hired him. So I don't even think they had a team that year. Like in the 2018 championships.
So they announced it March 17th, 2018, like literally right before the national championship kicked off. And they were like, hey, we're going to add a team. And it's like, cool, the season's done. Like, you missed your boat, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so over the past few years, I mean, it's not like Little Rock has like really done anything. They've had one national qualifier before this season, the 2024 season. That was Paul Bianchi in 2021.
And it was 2 years, like they had like a 2-year hiatus in between having him and this year. So it wasn't even like, oh yeah, last year, and then they built off it. Like, no. They had one, and then they did worse for 2 years.
And their first, yeah, go ahead.
I would say, Bianchi wasn't even like a great wrestler per se. I mean, he went 1-2, and they finished tied for 58th with only like half a point in the tournament. And that was 2 years after they started their program.
He was the first one. He's the pioneer.
Yeah.
Well, especially since, I mean, there's two Bianchi brothers that qualified for nationals this year, Matty Bianchi and Joseph Bianchi.
Yeah, so 3 of their 5 ever are the Bianchis.
You'll notice a theme. I mean, family ties are very strong in Little Rock. We'll get to the other family members in a second. But I wanted to point out, so Arisman, head coach Neil Arisman, he was an Oklahoma State wrestler under John Smith, and he spent the last few seasons at UNC. And his 2022 recruiting class for UNC was ranked 20th in the country. So this guy clearly has a knack at recruiting. And Nasir Bailey, who was number 17 in his recruiting class, was actually committed to go to UNC, but obviously liked Arisman enough that he decommitted and followed Arisman to Little Rock.
I wonder if Nasir's brother was at Little Rock before that and switched that up or what.
So I saw on the roster, we were talking about family ties. Nasir's older brother, Bilal, he's also on the Little Rock roster. He used to wrestle at Campbell. So I don't know the time frame, but he transferred at some point to go to Little Rock as well. Maybe it was when Nasir followed Arisman. But Arisman, he took on this job. He's a younger kind of guy, and he was like, this is going to take a young guy who has to put in a lot of work. And 2024, they finished the national tournament 19th place with 2014 points, 5 national qualifiers after literally 1 in the past four seasons.
Yeah, that really is a meteor just kush.
And then how many All-Americans? 2 in 1 season.
Yeah. Compliments de Lou to pray.
And kind of higher All-Americans too. I mean, Nasir Bailey finishes 4th at 133. Stephen Little 7th at, not super high for him, but 7th at 197.
Still got on there, and he's a freshman.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So over the years, Arisman's done a really good job with recruiting. Even starting in 2019, he had the number 100 recruit Steve Elwell at 197. Then in 2021, he had Matty Bianchi, who was number 47. 2022, he had 3 guys in the top 100, all 3 are still on the Little Rock roster. They were redshirt freshmen this year. Number 59, Kyle Dutton. Number 73, Brennan Van Hoek. And number 76, Brendan Abden. Obviously, last year, Nasir Bailey was number 17. And for the class of 2024, they landed another top 100 recruit, number 87, Jake Stacy. The kicker on top of all of this, of the 5 of their national qualifiers, 4 are returning next year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all 4 from this year. No, wait. Isn't one of them not coming back?
Right.
Isn't
Yeah, he said 4 out of 5.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I was going to say one of the Bianchis is graduating. But wait, they had 5 this year? I thought they had 4.
They had 5.
Who was the 5th one?
Well, the 2 Bianchi, Stephen Little, Nasir Bailey, and Josiah Hill, heavyweight.
Oh, Hill at heavyweight. That was the one that I was missing. Okay.
And Kyle Dutton, he was the starter for Little Rock this year at 149. He went 9-13.
Oh, so that's why Bilal Bailey didn't start.
Well, he's listed at 157 actually.
Oh, he's the. Oh, okay.
So if you look at Dutton's losses this year, he lost to Nash Singleton 8-4, Jaden Abbas 10-7, Jaden Abbas 13-10, Nash Singleton again 11-8, Kyle Parko 4-0 in the ASU.
That's actually fairly competitive.
Yeah, he's making a jump.
Yeah, as a freshman, that's fairly competitive because those are pretty solid guys.
For sure. Jack, do you want to talk about the ASU duel? You mentioned Kyle Parko a little bit. That was their first ranked win over a nationally ranked team when Arizona State was ranked 24th, and they beat them, and then Little Rock jumped into the national rankings for the first time. They got as high as 17th in February of this year, 2024, and like you were saying, a lot of these guys are young, they're freshmen, and they're competitive. They're not getting blown out in these matches. They have a lot they could build off.
Yeah, no, they're doing all the right things. I mean, they got clearly the family centered thing, like the team being a whole family and having all those sets of brothers is definitely a key component. And I mean, him having those top recruiting classes is also really helping. And considering the program didn't exist 5 years ago, or basically 5 years ago, like it's insane that they were able to jump as big, or even from last year to this year. Like you went from you didn't even place at the national tournament because you had no one at it to top 20
and 2 All-Americans,
and 2 All-American. Like that's bananas.
Well, they're clearly developed. Like Nasir Bailey, he's kind of expected. Like he was a really high recruit out of high school. But a guy like Stephen Little, who's not even in the top 100, that's just a great job developing a guy.
That's just coaching.
Yeah. And I want to point out their strength of schedule. So this year alone, they wrestled Oklahoma, Cornell, Iowa State, Pitt, who they lost to on criteria, by the way. And Pitt, mind you, beat Ohio State. Yep.
Yeah.
Arizona State, Oregon State, Stanford, and they attended the Southern Scuffle. Obviously not what it used to be, but
they were in Vegas, weren't they?
No, I don't think they did 15.
No, they were at Scuffle.
I thought Bailey was at. Oh, it must think it was Scuffle.
So, yeah, I mean they're wrestling top competition. They're not shying away from it.
No ducking.
Yeah, no ducking like some other team we know.
What's interesting as well is that I looked at the roster. They only have one guy from the state of Arkansas as well. And Arkansas is pretty.
How many top recruits come out of Arkansas?
Well, Arkansas is pretty new to wrestling in general. I think they only sanctions wrestling as like a high school sport within like the past 15 years or something. So it's like
yet now they have a top 20 in the country D1 program.
And I want to mention this because this obviously has some sort of an indirect role. Pat Smith is the founder of the Arkansas Wrestling Academy and helps run the Arkansas State Wrestling Tournament. So legendary Oklahoma State wrestler Pat Smith moved to Arkansas, says, hey, there's potential here to bring wrestling to Arkansas. And now look at the dividends that it's paying.
Let's develop this. Interesting.
So
Very interesting. Jaden and Jalen Carson is the other set of brothers.
yeah, and they're seniors, so they'll be gone. But hey, all it started was with one Bianchi national qualifier, brought his brothers in, and then hopefully we see this program just continue to grow and on the rise. We had to do a video about it because this is one of the best stories in wrestling, in sports, really. Not that like ESPN would ever cover this, but
That's a wrestling thing. They don't talk about that.
right.
What's Caitlin Clark up to? That's what the people want to know.
Actually, I was going to say everyone's going to be focused on Caitlin Clark and her breaking all of those records.
Yep.
Yeah.
So my question for you guys, where do they go from here? So this year they won the regular season Pac-12 title, 4-1 record, 15-5 overall, finished second in the Pac-12 tournament with 3 champs and 5 NCAA qualifiers, 2 All-Americans. What do we see as the trajectory for Little Rock?
You know, some people are even picking Stephen Little to be a national champion next year.
Say what?
Totally possible. I mean, Nasir Bailey, as we talked about,
Nasir Bailey, that's a lot more reasonable because he's right there with Crookham. But
exactly, if if Dayton Fix and Vito both were in the retirement home like they should be,
the retirement home, right?
Then we'd have two actual freshmen wrestling with Ryan Crookham versus Nasir Bailey in the finals.
Could have been.
Yeah, I mean, they wrestled each other for third, fourth, and that could have been this year's actual national championship. But I think the future's super bright, and I wouldn't be surprised if they win the Pac-12 conference championship next year.
What I'm really happy to see, at least so far, is that we have seen the likes of Nasir, Stephen Little enter the transfer portal because we've seen that with Appalachian State.
We've seen it with Yaroslav.
Hey, third school's third time's the charm.
Yaroslav.
Some of these smaller schools, they get a little bit of success and then they get tempted by those big time programs, NIL deals and whatnot. But
is Rutgers just like a jumping off point for people? Because like Suriano went there, won the title, then left. Like, I mean,
well, they'll have to go to Michigan too, of all places. Same place that Yaroslav's going to go.
Yeah, you think that's where he lands?
I think so.
Transfer you?
Yeah, I think it's transfer you, which is it is what it is. It's not it's not my business what they do. But
I mean, still, props to Little Rock for still managing. I mean, it comes back down to that hometown or that family team build that they got because they're able to keep everyone that they got and they keep their talent. They're only going to keep growing.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe Little Rock, the next Penn State. What?
Maybe success breeds success. I mean, I'm hoping to see them take another jump next year. They finished 19th, maybe top 15 finish next year. 3 years from now, top 10 finish.
Well, let's see. Meteoric is going to go from 19th to like second.
That would be ridiculous if they just like, oh, hey, we're right here. We're passing Iowa, Cornell, Ohio State.
Oh, honestly, that would be pretty
all
wild.
those teams.
If you get 2 finalists, that's like 40 points.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot. That's what I mean,
Oh, that's true. Yeah, if Little and Bailey got in the finals and then they had anyone else podium.
Yeah, it's not out of the picture.
It's definitely a possibility for them to take a huge jump next year, especially with all these talented young freshmen they have. And even at 149, his record wasn't amazing, but he's losing close matches to really, really top level guys. And they can just keep making that climb up the mountain.
Already, so
yeah.
If you look at the Pac-12 too, it's not like it's the deepest weight. So if you turn it on at the conferences, you're getting a national qualified bid, and then once you're in the tourney, then anything's up for grabs.
Yeah, anything can happen.
So drop a comment down below. We're shouting out Little Rock Wrestling, program to watch. It's on the rise. You heard it here. We are Little Rock Wrestling. Trojan.
Go Arisman, go Little Rock.
Yeah.
What's the mascot?
Trojans.
Mountaineers? What?
Trojans.
Yeah, Trojans.
Well, Mountaineers is the App State.
Yeah.
Trojans. Make sure you check out some, cactus swag on Etsy. Link in the description down below.
Thanks for watching. We are Cactus Wrestling, and we'll see you next time on our next video.